Welcome back to the channel. Jack with Crichton Chronicles here with another What's in the Box video, and today we're looking at the Viscounts of the West Kingdom from Renegade Game Studios and Garfield Games, and I believe this is the third and final of the West Kingdom series. So yeah, let's take a look what we got inside here. I'll try to go through this kind of quick with the rulebook, but I like to kind of show the components here as well, like just kind of give an overview. You got the different buildings, workers, your Viscounts, which is your character marker, corruption markers, virtue markers, silver, the different resources in the game, inkwells, gold and stone, and you got manuscripts which you can fulfill. You got this first player marker. This is the castle, where it goes in the middle of the board and you can make your way up the tiers. Very tedious game aspect, mechanic, interesting, but very tedious, and I first thought OP, but maybe not. And then we got the player boards right here, and then the 5 board segments which make up the modular rondel board. It's all randomized as well, so almost everything in here is randomized. So and you've got the townsfolk, which are neutral, which you can buy or dismiss throughout. They're in piles around the board. You've got the hero townsfolk. Every player will start with one of these, and they'll give you a special little bonus, and it's just an extra card you start at the starting of the game, which is paired with the player cards, because these will be randomly paired with the hero cards, and it will kind of dictate where you start and different resources that you get, and just actions you might take. Or like this, you gain a virtue right away. Got the cleric board bonus cards, which is for if you have manuscripts of the same type. You'll get the bonus for that. And then if the leader castle leader card, you'll get the extra 5 points if you happen to have be the first in the middle of the castle, or if they get in there. You got to have it can flux. Whoever has the most people in there, I believe, it can shift to. So, and then this is some solo play stuff, which I don't know anything about. And then the debt cards and deed cards. And if you're familiar with the West Kingdom series, some of these icons and stuff you'll be familiar with, but they're used in different ways in all the games. So yeah, we'll just kind of go through the rest of this. It just shows a little board setup. Your actual player board, all the buildings will cover the center row on the top. And as you build buildings, you can remove them, and it kind of gives you more bonuses, more icons, because icons will be what you how you fulfill some actions. Like bags are for buying, hammers are for building, the fleur or whatever the heck that's called, that's used for going into the castle with gold, and then the ink or the cross is for the manuscripts. So, but yeah, this goes into debts and deeds setups, townfolk layout, goes into corruption, and because there's a corruption track, there's a lot of stuff to kind of keep track of. I think in the 2 games we played, we kind of missed things here or there, but we were able to backtrack a bit, and so yeah, this kind of just gives you it's really in depth. They give you examples, and I don't think we had any issues. I think there was something that was confusing for us at first, but yeah, I think we found it in the book, but I can't quite remember. But yeah, end game, then you got solo play, and you got the quick reference on the back, which is always nice. So we'll take a look at some of the cards here. Actually, let's look at the players, because these will all be the same. So everybody will have these starting townsfolk, and they'll have various abilities on them. They'll have a cost, and well, a silver, I guess, marker, and different icons. They'll have, this is like ongoing. So you have your player board, you'll have up to 3 out on your board. And when, I wish the boards are on the bottom here, but when you play a card, it shifts them over, one will fall off. So you have up to 3 on your board at any time. But this is ongoing, so this is whenever you use the merchant action, or maybe trade action, merchant action, you get a gold. The X here is when it happens to fall off the track, like explaining. You get a debt and a gold, or silver, sorry, these are silver, not gold. Gold's a resource. And then there's the instant one, where when you play it, you get to discard a card and then you get 2 silver. And yeah, these cards are kind of because the neutrals will have the similar setup, but this has a little different meaning. But when you play a card from your hand, this is also the movement it's mainly just 1, 2, or 3 is the movement of your Viscount, how many spaces you can move. So, and then the symbols, how many ever cards you have out, what symbols are shown, those are the symbols that you have to do the various actions. Like I said, to buy, to do manuscripts, build the castle, and then the skulls with the criminals, that's wild, so it can be any. But yeah, so that's the starting hand everybody gets at. These are just the various pieces. You got the Viscount there, and the various buildings. You have the white marker. These are super chunky, so they're really nice. But actually, like, I don't know, they feel, yeah, I don't know, they don't feel like all that great, but they're actually not bad. Although we did have a broken piece in one, so, but yeah, and then you have the virtue tag and then the workers. So, and everybody will have the same deal going. They'll have the same starting hand and all the same pieces to start the game on that aspect, in that regards. You will be, however, picking, like I explained, the hero and a player card, which will dictate the various things that you start with and where you start your game. This is solo play. Don't know anything about that, unfortunately. I don't play a whole lot of solo, so but yeah, got the AI deck, I assume is what this is, and this will be all the various manuscripts. These go out on the board randomly as well in various piles. So just give you a little look here. Really thick cardboard. So yeah, this is how much it costs in that symbol to do it. When you take that action, you need 3 crosses. Inkwells can be used as crosses, and just like stone can be used as hammers, gold can be used as merchants, bags, and gold can be used for the floor or whatever. I don't know how to say that word, but yeah. So it gives you a little different thing. They all have different costs, and it's all random. There are a few, like the gray ones go on top irregardless, but then the rest are all randomized under it, and these are still kind of randomized what pile they're on. But some have instant effects, like you move 2 virtue, your virtue token over twice, you get a deed, stuff like that. You can flip either a deed or a debt, and yeah. So, and I think this is like an endgame scoring one. You'll get 1 victory point for each deed you have flipped, paid off. So yeah, there's just a variety of these. And I mean, there's a ton of them, and there's, I think, 5 piles of those. And let's see, there's 5 piles of the citizen. So this is just another player color, yellow. Here you got, let's see here. This is just the money. Kind of skimped on this. Our buddy has the metal coins for the other ones. So yeah, you got the starter marker, and then the silver cardboard punch outs, really nice quality, and the cards are also really nice quality. Pretty used. I think the whole West Kingdom production is really nice, really well done. These are the different resources, oversized bag. So yeah, it's got your gold, your stone, and I guess in that pile I didn't get an inkwell, but there's an inkwell. And so these are what you can help use to represent those symbols, to do actions. And that over here. And then let's see what we got here. Got the deeds. The deeds are worth 3 victory points if you flip it. It starts on this side, I guess. So it's 1 single point. And then if you flip it, it'll get to 3. Then you've got I better go like this then. Here you got the debts, -2 victory points, but if you eventually flip it, it's worth, I thought it was worth 1, but it's actually just worth a resource of your choice. So for some reason I thought it was worth a victory point, but yeah. And then this is that card that moves around whoever has the most people in the top tier of the castle, right there. And then these are, I don't think these move around. I'd have to check, but this seems to indicate that it moves around. These don't. So if you're the first one to get like either 3 blue manuscripts or 3 yellow or whatever, then you'll get the appropriate bonus for that. So that's something to kind of work towards. These are just multiplier cards. All the resources are fairly they're indefinite, I believe, so infinite. So I'm gonna wait to put those. This is just the blue color, green, same setup, and then we've got these are the heroes. And these are the heroes, and then the player cards, which these will be randomly placed out along with these and paired up, and then players will pick a pair, and they'll get that hero in their deck to start the game. And then I thought maybe you got this, but this is just when you play it. So I don't know. But so this doesn't trigger, but this does, and this dictates what you get at the start of the game. You'll be in the number 1 spot position on the board. You'll get 2 inkwells, stone, a bunch of silver, 2 deeds, and a debt, and then this is a ton. And then 1 virtue marker. You move your virtue marker over 1. So yeah, there's just a lot of different combinations there, because again, that's all random. And everybody will start with one of these heroes, and they'll have various, icons that'll help, and then the different abilities. Again, like the X is when it's pushed off the board. You can actually cull to destroy 2 cards or gain 2 resources of your choice. And so, yeah. And technically, it's kind of, I don't know if these really dictate what you do for your turn in the game, or like how you strategy you pick, but because I didn't do that, but then again, I haven't won, so maybe you should focus on what that is if you can. Some are a little more nuanced than just a specific strategy. They're more vague. And then these are all the townsfolk. These will be put into 5 evenish piles and placed out on the board. And the difference between these and like the townsfolk that you start with or the hero is they'll have like a dismiss or a hire, because you can hire these. If you hire them, you put them in discard. Eventually, they'll be shuffled into your deck once you run out of cards, and if you can't draw and stuff. So, and whenever you dismiss them, you gain. This is the cost. So when these are on the board, this is the cost to dismiss or hire. When they're in your hand, it's how much you move. When you have these symbols, if you dismiss just means you discard it, basically, and you gain those symbols, and you get to take whatever this action is. So this is move your virtue over 1. This is like shuffle your discard pile into your deck, and you'll gain these if you want. It's just a temporary gain of those symbols, those icons, which again is to help you do your actions, so you want to be buying something. If it's a skull, it'll be neutral. I mean, not neutral, but wild. And and there's just a wide variety. And again, these are all randomly placed out on the board in piles. And so it's pretty much, and they'll each have their own abilities, like little special abilities. Like this is ongoing whenever you, I don't even know. I would assume do an ink. If you do the ink well, if you do a manuscript, you move over and your corruption. And there's that whole aspect I haven't even shown, but yeah, there's a lot to this game. But yeah, it's once you kind of play it once or twice, I feel like it's not super complicated in a way. It's more just so much going on and to keep track of and everything that is the issue. Here is the board, or the castle, and there's obviously a piece missing somewhere in here, but so this you'll have out in the middle of the board. The board, like I said, is randomly placed outside. It's modular, and as you go along and you start putting in, wait a second. But there we go. There it is. I thought that looked odd. So yeah, you'll place people in here depending on how much gold you are able to spend, or not gold, but the fleurs, and the gold's used as the icon. And we get 3 guys in a spot. they then spread out, or 3 or more. And then you'll take, like, when you move up, you'll get to take the actions. Like, this is either you can cull a card, destroy a card, or buy or hire a townsfolk, face up townsfolk on the board, move your virtue token over twice, your marker twice, and then you'll just try to, and then when you have 3 or more here, they spread out and they go up. I believe that's how it was. I know they spread here, and I think it's the same here where one goes up, and so it spreads out, so you kind of have to go around and like put workers on your other areas, but I don't know. So this seemed really powerful and crazy, like a lot of points. It's like 1 point per, 2 point, 3 point per worker in each tier. So, but you can also boot people out. It just didn't happen very much. So, and then these are the various boards pieces. So, and again, these are random, so where these actions are and the different, these are where you put buildings when you build, and you put a building here, you get what that is. It's, so you get a deed or whatever. So there's just a ton of this. So the fact this is random, this is kind of like randomly placed on top. So whichever direction it faces is going to be random every game. And yeah, so there's a lot. This is where the townsfolk go in the piles. The manuscripts go here. They do have kind of like a base. Like, so if you do run out, there's at least something there that can be triggered and activated. And this is the paths that you can take. Each of these little spots are where your Viscount can go, and it kind of directs you where you can go. Here you can only go up. Here you can only go over. Here you can only go down. So if you're here, you can't go back up here. So there's all those various paths that you can take. And so yeah, there's a lot going on in this game. Like here, it's like you can, every 2 bag icons, you can get a gold, right? Any spot you can trigger this guy. You can either, the townsfolk you can dismiss or hire. On the top, you can either build or basically trade or use a merchant action for resources. On the bottom, you can either make a manuscript using the inkwells, or here's where the castle would be, down here. So yeah, then this is the other action, is putting workers into the with the floors into the castle. So your workers. So, but yeah, so it's kind of like the little setup, and a lot of randomness. And I'll show one of the player boards here. So, all right, so yeah, this is the player board. There's a ton of iconography, I said, but this is where your guys are coming out in the first turn. Since you only have one guy out, they give you a little bonus starting like icons, so you can actually do actions and everything. When someone's bumped off, like I said, they do the X on their special ability, like right here. But this is ongoing, so as long as it's on your board, if that guy was out whenever you did that action, you could get that bonus, stuff like that. So there's just a lot. This is where your icon, your corruption marker and your virtue marker, and as you gain corruption or virtue, they'll come across, they'll collide. When they collide, something happens for you. You get the top row. So if you're here, you'd get a silver and 2 deeds. And all opponents, if they have a criminal on their board, they move their corruption over 1. And stuff like that. And then there's like all of this up here. This is your main actions. This is movement. So as you remove this, will have buildings on it. You can remove a building for building. You can choose whichever one building you want to move. So let's say if you remove this one, put it on the board, you get whatever bonus it is on the board that you built on. But then also you have a permanent, like an extra 2 bag icons. So it's kind of like similar to the other games where you remove the buildings and you'll have little bonuses under it. But these are like permanents. I think in Paladins you might get like a worker or whatever. It's a one-time bonus, but here it's like a constant. So whenever you collide, or whenever maybe anyone collides. No, maybe, I don't know, one of the two, whenever the collision, but it could be anybody, then you get to move. If you have no criminals, you can move your virtue over one. And this is like your hand, so you can make it so you can have 4 cards in a hand because it's a 3-hand limit, but that'll allow you to have an extra hand in your card. This is an extra movement if you want for your Viscount, stuff like that. So there's just a lot going on. This kind of shows you with the Lafleurs how many icons you have equates to how many workers you put into the castle. So if you happen to have 8, you can put in a full 4, which would automatically trigger it. I think both of these trigger it, obviously, but because I think it was 3 or more. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot, and it's a very tedious part with that castle. But yeah, so that is, I'm assuming this is solo. I don't know, but yeah. So anyway, that's the board, and as you can see, there's just a lot going on. But once you kind of get it here, this is an icon that I think this is one of the most powerful things, minus maybe the castle, because I thought that was OP, but this seems to be like kind of the culprit. Is like if you can trigger this is just, you can rearrange the 3 cards on your board. And that can be really powerful if you have a strategy down and you have a character or 2 out here, a townsfolk that really juice that strategy, because you can kind of always put them in the back so they stay out longer and stuff. So, and this seems to be able to be triggered quite often. So it can trigger when your Viscounts collide with another, or they collide into you. On a lot of the dismiss or higher card town folks, there's that ability. So yeah, but anyway, I'm rambling because I'm just trying to talk about the experiences of the game that I had there. So yeah, anyway, that's the Viscounts of the West Kingdom. If you're a fan of the others, I'll probably do the Architects, because yeah, I haven't done that one yet, and I think I've only played it like twice, so might want to just add it in because I've done the other 2 now. But if you're a fan of any of the other games, I would think that while this is different, and I think it's the most complex in terms of so much stuff going on, because everything's so random and so much of everything that you can do, that yeah, I still think though that if you're a fan of the others, that you'll like this. I feel like Architects is probably the easiest, then Paladins, then Viscounts. So I don't know. If you're a fan of the series, I would suggest checking it out. But for now, that's Viscounts of the West Kingdom and what's in the box. And I appreciate you stopping by and checking out the video. Until next time, take care.